Hello everybody, welcome to a very special edition of the Seercast. Today we're talking about Prifddinas Batch 2, and as special guests we have Mod Stu.
God Stu is best J God.
Yes. And Mod Rowley.
Yes. What did we do with the Araxa requirement again?
Oh my god.
And here we go.
I don't know, but I killed the Araxa requirement.
Oh man. Also with us is Ballor.
Do I have enough mint cake yet?
Thorlah.
Hello.
Jascertes.
Hi.
Orange.
Lord Umlaut is no one's pack yak.
Lime.
I'm here.
Runic.
I am changing my name from Runic Lord to Melon Lord.
What?
What?
Okay.
Geena.
It's actually true. I've spent way too much time in dungeons.
Yes, you have. And also there's a 41st Geena now. It is Lady Melier. Fang?
It almost feels like you don't want to see me become the immortal leader of an unstoppable army of soulless mechanical elves.
That's such a good quote. Kitten?
Completely unrelated, but shout out to some person in real life named Bernie. If you are watching this, God help you.
Wow.
Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Bernie.
And we have Walter and Habblet in the chat. So, as we have the J-mods here, we're going to do it more or less the same, but a little bit differently. We're going to go through the content stuff, and any questions that we have that we may ask, that's what we'll do. We'll try our hardest not to talk over each other, which we do very successfully every cast. But yeah, so we're going to go...
I didn't say a word during that.
Oh, he did stay quiet during the intro. Baby steps. So
Oh boy.
So we'll go ahead and get started with the Ethel clan. So we have from in the Ethel their
Best clan.
their crafting and construction, if I'm correct. You get sandstone, you have potter's wheels, mining soft clay directly, pottery oven, a sand pit to collect sand from, and the place where Mod Stu is hanging out for I don't know how many hours on release day, the harmonium.
Still there.
Still there. Mod Stu literally never leaves. I guess that's probably because he can't fit Hawk out of the harmonium.
Yeah. It's built around him.
I think he's looking for a new girl hiding spot.
Oh dear.
If you shatter the statue in the middle, he's inside of it.
But yeah, so the Ethel clan is, as I mentioned, it is about crafting and construction. This is the clan that has a lot to do with the crystal weaponry, the crystal tools, all of this stuff.
The singing and music, and that's what they do.
It is what they do.
Yeah.
It is also now the source of the best AFK crafting XP in the game.
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
But Citadels.
No.
Oh.
That is not AFK.
Never again.
Never again.
Never again.
Rip. Never forget. But yeah, so the harmonium gives the best crafting XP, the best AFK crafting XP, and gives you rewards in harmonic dust to make crystal weaponry, crystal tools, along with the crystal seeds that you get from pickpocketing, the GE, etc. So it's a very nice place, let's put it that way.
Yeah, half my time I spend hanging out in the section there, the Ethel.
I have to say, sitting in the harmonium is great while grading papers. It is great. Is there anything we want to mention specifically about this clan section? It's pretty straightforward.
If this
Can we
is
take
now,
a moment to talk about tea?
Yes, why are they carrying open cups of tea in their pockets?
Good question. That's because they're British elves.
Stu?
No offense.
Rowley?
What?
I think...
Why do elves carry completely open cups of tea in their pockets?
well, why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Yes, that works.
And Walter says, why isn't it the construction boost tea?
Oh, actually, that's true. I've totally forgot that that's a thing.
Well, that construction boost tea actually is supposed to only exist in
In
player
Player House. Yeah, I know, but still.
Yeah, I don't think it functions outside of there. Otherwise, we would have used it.
You can't even take it outside.
A thematic link to that. Yeah, I think it's a case that we needed common drops in there that weren't going to be destabilizing things that were particularly important, equivalents to the sharks that we had previously. So there had to be something that you had commonly.
My favorite thing to do is once I've been kicked out of the clan, I just stand there and, oh, that's a nice cup of tea for like 3 minutes until they're all...
Just kind of rub it in.
Yeah. Just stand right next to one like, I stole your tea.
I stole your tea. Deal with it, bro.
But you can kick me out of your clan, but you can't kick me out of your tea drinking competition.
Oh my god.
You can take
They'll
away the
take,
eating
Fang,
spots.
they'll take you to court for stealing tea.
Lime go.
Certainty.
You can take my theming spots, but you can't take my tea.
Oh no. Okay,
I feel
but
like
yeah.
I need to get the Highlander mask for that then.
No, please. No, please.
So, how are you guys finding the crystal tools? Are you finding them useful?
I may or
not
not
yet.
use them yet.
Yeah,
They're not. Which one? Alright, the crystal tools, they're not really useless, but I mean, they're not that special.
I have never used one.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
think
figured out how to get one.
Yeah, I will say if this was a poll, I would say want to play but haven't.
Yes, same.
Sorry.
just
I probably should.
I didn't actually know they existed until about 2 hours ago. I was like, wait a second. There are crystal tools too?
that is sad.
It is sad.
just trying to get the dust for their hatchet or pickaxe initially, and then
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I will say that
Lime.
The saw is...
Lime
The
first.
saw's... Alright.
I wish it was more profitable for crystal, like making crystal equipment because well, I was making crystal chakrams. And I bought like 3 weapon seeds just to see how much they'd sell for, and they were like what, 20k? No, they weren't 20k, were they? They were
pretty
so.
low.
I bought the seeds, and eventually I got all the harmonic dust in order to make the crystal weaponry. So I make the chakrams, and they sold for 200 GP each.
Rip.
I feel
chakrams, yeah.
Yeah, I wish they were a bit more profitable.
Isn't, like, staff, I mean, I think some of the weapons are closer to 400k. That might have only been because of attuned, but...
Attuned is...
Yeah.
Attuned is good. But the attuned seeds are apparently obscenely rare, so...
And they're rare. So you
My
can-
biggest crystal tool wise is the basic ones that cost 500 harmonic dust plus the tool seed. They still cost 1,000,000 coins to re-enchant, which is just so high if you're...
Yeah, I think that needs looking at. I think I'm going to also see if we can lower the cost of the tools a little bit, because I think the amount of time that you spend using them versus how long it takes to get them, they're roughly on par at the moment, but it kind of lowers the benefit of using them, as it were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the uses either. I mean, the hammer, it has that 5% chance, but it only saves 28 bars or smiths 28 items.
Yeah, it's quite niche.
Yep. I mean, I love the actual effect, especially on the knife, giving you a strung bow instead of an unstrung bow.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, it's just the cost is a little prohibitive.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, I like...
But yeah, it's worth looking at, I guess. I mean, for it to be on par, I guess, isn't quite what you're looking for. Cause if it's just on par, then people aren't gonna go out of their way to make the tools.
Yeah.
Unless they just have the dust lying around anyway, which at some point people are going to. Like, people are just going to AFK that crafting method at 99. People probably already have.
I'm planning on AFKing it to 89, so I can make the crystal flasks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah! Oh, I forgot about that being a thing. That's like the best way to use that.
Yeah.
As I remember, that was a nightmare getting to 89 crafting.
I just use bonus XP weekend triple XP.
Please.
And I got 90.
That reminds me, do you guys know offhand, apparently the crystal tools doubles the chances of getting strange and golden rocks while it's in your inventory. Does that only count for the skill that it's used on, or is it just for any?
That's only for the skill that it's used on.
Okay.
Also, I've heard a rumor that the crystal chime doubles your golden heart rock chance for all skills, but that's not the case.
Okay, yeah, that's actually exactly what I was asking, because I'd heard talk about how the chime was the only one that doubled it.
Yeah, I double-checked the code just to be
That's
sure, but it doesn't have any effect.
Okay.
Cool. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what I was going to mention.
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, you can make crystal teleport seeds have 4 charges now, which is nice.
Finally, we can get back.
And then the dragon hatchets and dragon pickaxes can be upgraded for 4k harmonic dust each. I actually like that price. It takes a long time to get it, but you never have to get it again. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the hatchet, and it was really nice going like woodcutting with it. I mean, especially I made the effort to go get before I started finishing off woodcutting.
Quick question: have the dragon pickaxe prices shot up?
They were pretty high before release, and I think they're back to about normal. Maybe a little
they
higher
went
now.
up before. Okay.
Yeah, they were up to.
They are sitting at 18.2 mil right now. There has been a slight spike recently.
Okay.
Oh,
that's not
over the past. Let's see. From the start of October, they were 16 mil, and at the start of November, they went from 17 to 19.
Man, that is the only item that has really truly retained its price for the last 5 years.
Because it's the best pickaxe. There is no better pickaxe.
Was rather.
And it's been
There's no
And it's
hang on.
Lime, go.
There's no better purchasable pickaxe, and that is the base for all better pixes, except for the Inferno Axe, which is more of a hatchet than a pickaxe anyways.
Yeah.
Hilariously, the lowest it's ever been is 3.6 mil in February of 2013.
I know.
I remember that.
I can't remember that I sold or I lost mine when I got hacked, but one of the two. But I bought my first one for around 10 mil. And then it spiked when, the Elder Kiln came out because it was required for the dills.
Yeah.
The highest it's ever been is 20.1 mil, and that was on 29th of September of this year.
Really? Interesting. But so this is our market update for the Seercast. We need a graphic for the market update, because we do this once every other podcast, completely by accident.
I think I have a good graphic for that. Just draw some really just poorly done graphs on a wall in crayon, and then just dress up very properly, and then just say science or something.
Oh,
There's our graphic.
No. Just
like
quick science
with lime.
We could make that happen, actually.
Oh my god.
Actually, Lime, just quote something from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh no. Anyways, I don't really want to go into much detail about the actual numbers of attuned crystal weapons and shields, because I don't think anybody wants to hear that. Needless to say, they're level 80 weapons that can hit tier 95s once every 8 hits on average. But
a bit more than that, 12% chance at I guess about that.
But
it's about every 8, yeah.
But the seeds are rare. So they're slightly better than chaotics, but you can kind of DIY them if you have the gear for it.
I mean, we all know that the best weapon in the game is the best weapon in the game is the Karis against Calphites.
Oh god, yeah.
It would be if Calphites were weak to melee.
Whatchamacallit?
Drygores against Calphites.
I think they've buffed Karis 8 times now. So yeah.
It actually is pretty niche if you're going to be meleeing KK. It does ridiculous amounts. It has a chance to do just ridiculous amounts of damage.
Yeah. Please.
Anyhow, yeah.
Walter wants us to get back on topic, and I agree. So, unless anybody else has anything to say about the Ethel, then we'll move on to the Amlod clan.
I just wanted to say something about the attuned crystal weapons.
Go for it.
In that, at the current point, they're just not worth it because they degrade to dust. And really, the easy. I don't have a problem with how rare they are or how long they take to get the dust. The problem is that they just degrade to dust in the end, so they're not worth it. So, I don't know, best idea to fix them would be just revert them to seed.
Yeah, that would be
increase
really nice, actually.
I'm going to have a word with Timbo when he's back on next week and see if we can remove one of the penalties, because I think at the moment it's a little too harsh.
I personally would be satisfied if it just dropped back into seed form.
What's the second penalty?
Well, also, there's no way to recharge them.
That's right.
And the seeds are non-tradable, so it's very DIY in its approach.
Mm-hmm.
The degraded dust was something that was in its initial design before we locked down a lot of the other restrictions, and I think we can probably do away with it. I think it's something that prevents people from being willing to make the investment in getting the seed initially, if they know it's going to degrade out over a period of time. So I'm going to see if I can.
Yeah, Walter found a drop luck of one person on the forums, which is obviously not going to be.
It's not good.
It's not going to be representative because the only people that actually go to the forums are the ones that have the terrible drop rates because they're complaining about it. But yeah, apparently 2 full Noxious Bow repairs, 7.5 million XP, and 4 days of grinding, and 0 attuned seeds. So,
wow.
I highly doubt that's representative, but it shows that they're really, really rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe an idea for if you remove the degrade to dust, maybe just increase the harmonic dust cost to repair it.
Yeah.
I'd still be good with that.
More of that than on the randomization of getting the seeds initially, because there's such wide variance and potential of getting it that way.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I definitely agree, though, that a revert to seed would really help them out a lot because the harmonic.
At the moment, it's balanced the way that the Timbo wanted them to be for comparison against Chaotix. And,
so we'll blame Timbo.
Yeah.
He's not here. He's not here. It's not like he watches or anything.
Yeah, you know.
Hi, Timbo.
Hi, Timbo.
But yeah, also, I guess, what you just mentioned this actually is the randomization of getting the seed. If you have it degrade to seed, degrade to seed form, you could being able to recycle that seed as a different weapon once you hit 99 in a melee skill, being able to recycle it as a bow or as a wand could be an interesting thought as well.
Oh, what? Yeah. You couldn't pick the thing it was?
No, you could.
You could?
Yeah. Right. So you could switch. So it would have been a sword before or whatever, a dagger. And then it degrades the seed, and then you remake the seed as a bow to help train whatever your next combat skill is. So it really rewards going out and finding that seed. But
I prefer
that. So moving on to the Amlod. The Amlod is summoning and divination, so probably my 2 favorite skills in the game. I like these guys. These guys are bosses.
These guys are hard not to like.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're cool, but let's get into them.
Lord Amlod is not a pack yak.
He is not.
He is not a pack yak.
Confirmed.
As if he ever was. Since there was a theory going around on the forums, of course, knowing the forums, there probably was, but so there's an obelisk to infuse pouches. Lord Amlod is a summoning shop and a shard trader pouch. You have 3 kinds of shadows which drop cores that can be converted into XP, and you have a chance of getting a light core. I asked this in the chat earlier. What was the chances of getting a light core? Because I'm 1 for 1.
1 in 3.
Whatchamacallit? It's like 1 in 3 to 1 in 5.
Okay, gotcha.
I found about 25%, but yeah.
Well, that fits right in. You finally get the fairy ring to the Elf City. It's code DJS. Pickpocketing gives summoning stuff.
And divination stuff.
Yeah, summoning and divination stuff, as you'd expect. We have Walter's favorite place in the game. We have the Impling Collector. Is that, do you pronounce that David?
I heard this said the other day. I think it's not quite right. It's Daffyd or
Daffyd.
There's a TH in there somewhere.
Daffyd.
Oh boy.
I don't even try to Welsh.
The F is almost V-like. But
Daffyd.
otherwise, yeah. Daffyd.
It's basically, it's based on David, which is named after Maud Osborne, because why not?
Why not?
And knowing, like, me, my knowledge of Welsh? What?
Welsh?
I know words good,
right.
but yeah, it turned it, like, I just started calling him Daffodil and Daffy Duck. I was running around Purro for like 3 hours not getting anywhere, and I'm just like, oh my god, Daffy Y.
Daffy Y.
It was fun. He's cool though.
I'm slightly disappointed that...
Maud Osborne.
Huh? I'm still slightly disappointed that the Crystal Cow is not named Mooseborn, but that's okay.
Yeah, at least it's there.
Yeah,
At least
it
it
being called
exists.
Moolier is still good. And yeah,
Yeah.
it exists.
It does exist, the Crystal Cow.
By the way, Daffyd has the second largest face in Prifddinas.
Have somebody
wonderful.
measured all of the faces?
Yes.
Is the largest
his face
elf
is
born?
larger by 0.2 millimeters.
Is the largest elf born?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yes, it has.
You have done well.
Thank you, base gods, base J gods, for doing this.
That's great. The Ring of Welsh, Jascertes, please.
Okay, now we need that. Just translate all of the elf names into something we can understand when you wear it.
Make it
capital
a
city.
Oh my god! Make it a reward for the task set.
Yes.
Yeah, the Ring of Welsh.
Ring of Welsh.
On your lumbridge ring.
There is no task set ring, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
there is.
there's
The
a-
Explorer's
Yeah,
ring.
Lumbridge.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yes, the first
It's
one.
too funny. Anyways, so yeah, there are implings for all of the crystal, or all of the types. J-God Stu is the crystal impling, as he should be, right? Right?
Why did we
And
settle on
Rowley here is the kingling.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I find it a bit ironic. The impling I was chasing after for weeks on end is Stu.
Stu.
Knew I should
Yeah, I
have just
still
gone
haven't-
after him the whole time.
I still haven't gotten either the kingling or the crystal. I still need a
Yeah.
stupid acorn. Ugh.
Yeah, I still need
I have
Kingling and Crystal.
I have all the way up to the spirit. I haven't done anything past that yet.
I haven't even touched it. I've been too busy running around the Ithel and the Heffen sectors.
Yeah, I think that's what we've all done, honestly.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been camped in Melior.
was it
because I'm different.
Orange that got that bug with the rewards?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yes, it was. Oh, let's talk about that, because that was funny when Walter showed me the picture.
Go Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was using the tree shaking scrimshaw and cutting crystal trees, and I end up getting a divine impling, and I just gotten the double loot buff from getting all the implings. So I go to collect it, and then suddenly I see this gigantic pile of signs of the porter just right where the impling was, and my inventory also is filled with them all. It was just wow.
Burnt meat.
Did somebody cake face the rewards again?
Possibly.
20 incident.
No,
Yeah.
I think that Impling just went full burnt meat.
Full
Yeah.
burnt
And
meat.
just have everything.
Never go full burnt meat.
Yeah, there's gotta be an extra zero somewhere.
Several extra zeros.
A couple too many extra zeros.
So I'm just okay, drop them all.
Somebody walks over and there's a pile of 150 signs of the porter on the ground. They're like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was it went off the screen. The list was so large.
Oh my god.
You really wanted to skill hard.
Is that a known bug, or is this the first time that you guys have heard of this?
We've not had any reports of that. So.
Yeah,
It's not in my area, so I've been looking for it. I've just written it down to investigate.
It's pretty niche, to be honest, getting a divine impling that happens to drop signs of the porters from a skills shaping
just in that circumstance
at a crystal tree.
Well, yeah, I know, but and then there's also the problem with the pop-up notification in the chat box didn't show up for the crystal impling.
Yeah, it was like a blank line.
Yeah, I've never even seen a divine impling from tree shaking. I've gone through 1.5 or 2 of those scrimshaws on crystal trees.
Side note, welcome to the Seercast, where we have J-God guests and we use them for bug reports.
Of course.
Yeah. It's like, hey, there's a problem in game, let's just tell you directly. But I guess that kind of works a little bit better, because I've seen some bug reports that just don't make any sense. And then the writing doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this one was just like so funny and just so like caught me off guard.
It's just entertaining. Some of like that one specifically is like, what?
It's like thank you.
Game broken, please fix. Yeah, that's what I see mostly in bug reports. Your game sucks.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark 1 exclamation mark @ 2 1 like yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically.
Anyways, forums.
Oh yeah.
You never disappoint. But okay, is there anything else we want to mention about the Amlod section?
We didn't mention the summoning course. The light course, sorry.
The summoning course. Oh, I briefly mentioned that.
Briefly. Can we talk about Penny here?
Oh god.
Maybe?
She's beautiful. That's all
Who
I
is
can
Penny?
say, 'cause I don't have it yet.
I don't.
She's the pet that you can get. There's 3 dark, 3 things that the shadows drop. And if you get all 3 of them, you can combine them into a Dark Lord pet or Shadow pet.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I've never seen that. Anybody got a picture so I can drop it in the video?
Let me.
I don't have one.
I think I've seen one around.
I've never seen one picture.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one. Anybody have one?
I don't have one, but I have a picture of one. I'm waiting for it to load.
I also haven't screwed around with the shadows yet.
Yeah, the shadows, they're good Slayer XP, from what I've heard, but they're not worth it. They're not worth the kill for anything other than Slayer.
Well, it's also a requirement for titles. I think it's titles. It's not.
Yeah, there's a title for, what is it, dumping a certain
it's like
number of them?
15 of each core, I think, somewhere in the Rift.
Yeah, that requirement for the post-quest lamp for Plague's End.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it is a comp requirement, definitely.
Yeah.
It's the Amlon now. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got
cool.
titles.
Have you guys looked into their drops? Because they don't particularly have great drops. I will admit.
I think there's quite a notification that they're decent for blues, for charms.
Yeah. Okay. I got a ton of
really good charms
actually when I was doing them, which was surprising.
Seems like it's either charms or rune gear or the cores.
Yeah.
So it's not too
They
bad.
drop like rune longswords and addy plate bodies, and then some addy ore.
So alchables, basically.
Yeah. They don't have a ton of drops though. It's a very limited table. So I don't know.
I mean, they're mostly there for the divination XP.
For the shadow cores.
So
Yep.
But yeah, it's an interesting.
But yeah, they're not that good for div XP either. It's like 30k an hour, if that.
Yeah,
it's more of
all of the combat XP you're getting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so it's a good mix.
True.
Also, like, what I'm looking at, what I want to get from those cores are, well, the cores. From the shadows, I want the cores, because I've got, some 800 blue charms, and I want to make those all into,
light familiars.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, because you do have, because the light, if they drop a bunch of blue cores, and you have okay, that's right, then that's like DIY light familiars.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I made
that's how
one
I was
light
getting
familiar.
mine Dave release. They were like 400k Dave release for the pouches, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, I got a shadow core from the agility course, and dumped it in the thing, got a light core back, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll make a light familiar then.
Which
I got the Enlightenment scroll off of the Agility course, and so I just popped over there and was like, I could probably just find one.
Yeah.
I did it
I think
for
it was
the Umlaut title.
Stu, Rowley, which one?
Oh, I'd have made them, but you'd have put them on the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Or sorry, maybe I made you put them on the course. That might be it.
Might have been a suggestion from Dave to add that on. But yeah, the idea was to create synergy between the two clans because they're right next to each other. So
Gotcha.
you're getting cores from the agility course, which is then useful for getting your light creature familiar, and then the light creature familiar is useful on the course. So it creates a cyclic synergy.
Is there any synergy between Melir and Heffen?
Maybe and Heffen?
Mainly with all the potions, all the skilling throughout.
Yeah, I mean the perfect agility potion will affect its perfect plus potion.
I guess that's true.
Speaking of Melir, what does the Voice of Saren effect do in there? Because nobody has been able to figure out something for it.
I think it's bonus moss.
Hold on, let them say. if they're gonna say.
I figured I'd ask.
They might be hidden.
Yeah,
keep them hidden.
Okay, sounds fair.
Keep looking
But
for it.
I have a bunch of guesses for it, but I haven't actually found anything yet. But my biggest guess has been involving the potions, like you might make a 4-dose or something. I just don't
you
know.
already make 6 doses.
Yeah.
When you combine.
An 8-dose potion.
Potions.
Well, the idea is that there are 2 hidden effects, one for each skill, for each clan. So it's a matter of finding something thematic.
Cool.
Interesting.
All right. On that note, we'll move on to Heffen, unless somebody else has something they want to mention about Amlod. First things first, the talent scout is an Elvish impersonator. Just gonna throw that out there.
Put it there.
Who came up with that, by the way?
We've got several of those. I'm pretty sure it's in the task list as well. It's when you have a good pun, you try to squeeze as much as you can out of it.
Oh yeah, of course.
I admit, I was almost hoping that when you do go into the pit, Snotgut, or whatever their names are, would also be wearing elf ears.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh no!
I was almost hoping it was like an individual version of the pit, like kick the hungry sheep, and all of them had elf ears on.
That'd be funny.
The freaking elf pit.
In before April Fools.
And the music there is rock and roll.
Oh no! All right. So in the Heffen, their big claim to fame at this point is agility. There've been.
It is the agility capital of the world.
Yeah, it is the agility capital of the world. Unfortunately, that severely overshadows the prayer aspect of Heffen.
And to be honest, the prayer aspect kind of sucks.
It's expensive. It's AFK and social, but it's expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, normal prayer is already pretty AFK.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest problem just is that it's more expensive than Frostbones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the balancing that Tim put it at. While if you're trying for the fastest XP per hour, which most people are going to if they're trying to actively level a skill, it's not going to be the best option, and it wasn't going to be able to devalue the existing option. So the idea was that it was meant to be a less click-intensive alternative, and as such, it's balanced accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, Dragon Bones, Gilded Altar Bones, just they don't require any clicks as it is. So I don't know. That's a hard thing to balance, though. I'll give you that.
Better idea.
And lighting the torches and so on. So it's less clicking than that, but yeah, it has got periods of inactivity in the existing methods.
Yeah.
Yeah. A better idea would have been to make it free but slow, because the big complaint from a lot of mid-level players is that prayer is really expensive.
Yeah. Make it,
even
kind
of like a higher level Nexus almost.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of us
in
were
a
hoping
way,
for.
it's an idea for it. I'm okay with what it is now. I wouldn't use it, obviously, because I'm at 99, but
yeah, same.
Not the
Right.
point.
I did one.
Yeah, I remember initially they said that it was going to be a slower method but cheaper.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do initially. But we would have devalued the existing methods by doing that. Even if you have a slower method, if it's cheaper, then people are going to be doing that.
Well,
and that become the best new method.
Well, it depends on how slow it is, though. Like,
yeah,
like it can be suitably slow to the point of, like, where if you want to do the expensive method, because it's kind of like, I think it's the way that that like fire making was for a while before bonfires. Before Jadinko Lair, it was like, do you use maples for cheap and slow, or do you use stuff like Use or Magics for really quick XP, but at a much higher price? And it's, I don't know, it's hard to balance. It is.
Yeah.
There's so many things to keep track of.
These are the things that keep Timbo up.
They probably do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He spent a lot of time on this one trying to get the rates right. We took several attempts at it, and although I know this isn't exactly what you're looking for, this is the one that wound up being the one that worked. As
as long as it works and it's reasonable and I guess balanced for the system, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it was something just like I don't know, an obscenely slow XP rate for even more ridiculous price. Well, I don't want to say it already is ridiculous, but if it was like twice the price and half the XP, then it'd be a little worrying. But
yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll do. I guess is what
works.
What we're all saying, and it is an interesting, just like the mechanics of it are very interesting too, and it also acts as a gold sink, which is nice as well. So, you know, I do find it very interesting how many gold sinks there are in Prif. Between the seeds, the recipes, the prayer, like, all these things are just straight up gold sinks.
It is meant for high level players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the top end is where all the money is spent and where all the money is accumulated. So yeah, trying to find opportunities to churn that out.
I dig it.
Prif is like the haven of high player. Oh, yeah, Prif is like the haven of high level players.
Like,
so it makes sense.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I think we should have just put a wishing well in the crater and have people throw money in.
You probably.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would object to that. Make an underground underneath the GE instead of it just going up in the Tower of Voices. Have it go down and just there be a wishing well underneath.
No, I mean just the crater, so it eventually fell up with gold.
Oh, fair enough. So you just throw your gold over the side, and eventually you just start seeing it welling up at a certain point. Bell's like, "What is this?"
Well, see, here's a way to make that work. Make like some kind of title or XP something be the reward, just for filling the whole thing up with money, your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah, like suddenly Prifddinas becomes a sea of gold.
Yeah, suddenly it's just overflowing with coins.
Here's the best thing. When the entire thing fills up with coins, have a duck dive down riding a carriage.
Oh no.
Duck on a car.
Duck on a carriage?
Duck on a carriage and Scrooge
Duck
McDuck reference.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Boy.
Scrooge
McDuck on a car.
Mandatory first reference, yeah.
Anyways. Moving along. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the agility part now. So the best use of the Heaven Monastery is of course as the agility course, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I love the way that this agility course works. Like, I despise traditional agility to the point of I don't do it, ever. I don't know how I have 90. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, so it's the agility course. It takes 6 clicks to get through the whole thing. Between each clicks, you have several seconds of waiting, or whatever, or chatting, which is more applicable. Except rip chat right now.
That will be fixed.
It will be fixed though, and it seems like it seems like what they're looking at doing is going to be good. It has the best XP rate in the game. It has rewards, which agility doesn't.
You don't even have to move your mouse too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no, and the click boxes are huge, which is great.
And you can't fail the course, because if you would be dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's a long fall to the ground. So.
Alright. Silverhawks fail. Well, Silverhawks are a thing.
Oh, we might be getting a cameo from my cat. She's right. Hi.
Give us a 1 in 10,000 fail rate. You just instantly die. It's a safe, it should be, actually that would be funny if it was like a safe, if it was a safe thing, but you still died on the course, you just fall off.
Like,
if you respawn.
Were you running across the rock face, where you see your character just run, and then just slip and plummet to their death.
Dude, Modcast, like,
then they respawn
in front
of the light creatures, and you go, what just happened? And then you just get a quiet of nothing.
Yeah, it would be funny, but as it was, our animator was working on those animations for weeks, so asking him to do additional variants for an advanced course or it just wouldn't be practical.
Yeah, those are some sick animations, though.
Not again.
Those animations are insane. I'm just
they're cool.
This is a minor nitpick. This is a minor nitpick, but I wish that last animation wasn't just like, oh, you touch the light creature and you go down. I wish it was like some grand finale.
Yeah, originally you merged with the light creature and then you travelled through the air and then you slid your way down to the final destination. But we found with the amount of time that it took to do that, compared to the amount of time that it takes to traverse your way up, the shortcuts just weren't short enough. So we switched over to a teleport instead. It did look a bit grander before.
Interesting.
I'd love to see that at some point, but...
just something... if the files still exist, just seeing like an animated GIF of that somewhere, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
It wasn't really animated as such. It's
just in concept.
It just
just if it...
Yeah,
if it was ever made.
Crossing the chasm in the Gothic scale.
Nice. I'm going to be totally honest. When I first saw the tower, I was hoping we would jump off and land in a pool of water. That, you examined it, was titled Haystack.
Wonder if there's a needle in it. That'd be really bad.
Ow.
The awkward moment when there are actually needles in the RS haystacks.
I love that.
Oh yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so I think we're all a fan of the agility course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then there was the lore books that you get in the agility course. And are we talking about that later or talking about that now?
We can briefly mention them now, but I want to focus on them later.
Alright, I'll go over them just like
there
a little
bit. Lore books.
You've got, it is called The Voice of the Elders, and there are 2 volumes. The first one has, let me just check right now, Kadarn, Cruist, Iworth, and Chahern. And the second one has the Batch 2 series elves, which would be Mayer, Ithel, why am I forgetting? Mayer, Ithel, Pepin, and Emlot. So, and they're from the viewpoints of the clan leaders, I believe. So, Kadarn concerns itself, if I remember correctly, with the last fight over Prifddinas and Baxtorian's failed siege of Prifddinas. And what happened to the Empire. And Iworth is dealing with, like, the view of the Iworth. And Chahern has this nice line of Lady Chahern scolding one of the elves over failed design.
Oh, that was the best.
Even though your failures resulted on the return of Prifddinas, you still suck.
Yes! I love that.
You're bad.
It's like, I'm sorry that you were successful in what you set out to be doing, but you still are terrible at this.
Yeah, you're bad. Get good.
You're bad and you should feel bad.
Yes.
That's the essence of that entire thing. But yeah, and those journal pieces are required for the Lorehound title. So, yeah. I think here we should mention, while we're talking about agility briefly, that Mod Rowley's title is the Meandering, which is by XP wasting hardcore on the agility course.
Literally, by trying to AFK agility, you get a title.
Yes.
You sit around for 10 minutes.
The best
I was
way.
really tempted to try and max out the timer. But
Oh god.
That might be a while. What is is there even a max on it?
it should have 99 minutes, 99 seconds. If I
No, you'd get 6 hours long.
Well, it depends on if it goes
An
into
hour
the
and a half.
hours or not. If it doesn't, then it might be
Yeah, there's-
99.99.
There's no space on it right now for hours, but
It only
I've
counts
been
minutes.
so tempted to try.
Say that again?
It only counts minutes and seconds. I wasn't expecting even Rowley to take that long to
I was hoping there would be like some snarky dialogue option.
Are you done yet?
A light creature starts
Well,
trying
there
to
isn't
communicate
space
with you.
The light creature becomes the gnome guys on the gnome agility course.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up, you maggot!
My
Yeah, it's
grandma
like-
can do better than that.
It's like, I have no arms and no legs and I can run faster than you.
Alright, also, before we move on, we do want to mention the daily... Do we call that a D&D? Like, what do we call that? The daily thing for Heffen. Huh?
Your daily stretch.
The daily stretch, the calisthenics.
Your morning activity.
Yoga.
Yoga.
Exercise.
I've
Yeah,
legitimately
serenity pose.
started doing the poses in real life while doing them on my character. My balance is improved.
Yeah, there's serenity posts where you go and you hang out on these posts and mimic what Lady Heffen is doing for a few minutes, and it gets you 20k XP a day, 20k agility XP a day. Not
Does
bad.
this mean we're getting
Okay, with
jazzercise with
the
Menaphos?
Jazzercise with Menaphos? What?
Oh my god.
What?
It's one of the things just
Jazzercise?
like walk the Egyptian or something. Like there's some weird stuff like that. I don't know.
Dance moves.
Yeah.
Jazzercise.
Oh
Oh man.
god, then breaking history happens.
And then breaking and beating history.
Yeah.
Breaking, broken, and beating history, please.
Yes. Eventually there just is no history.
I still want to be
Lack
able
of
to
history.
use that enchanted key on the Broken Home Mansion to go and look at the asylum.
Yeah. I'm legitimately going to try and Rune Labs that just to force,
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, he would dare, it's just
Wanna
that it'll
bet?
never get through.
yeah, it probably won't.
Dude, I've already got legitimate suggestions for that.
Oh yeah, I have like 3 prepped and ready to go. But
Alright, so, is there anything else we want to mention with Heffen?
I don't think so.
Well, no, not really.
Alright, then,
Well, this clan does the most with the living light creatures, or the myriad, as their name is. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I didn't know where I was going with that.
I don't know where you're going with that either.
Maybe that's for the lore part.
It is true, it does reveal that the living light, the myriad, we knew this, had crystal cities, and they were essentially light given form, given life. And unfortunately, those crystal cities did not hold up well during the God Wars. And now they're kind of supplicant. They've come over to the Elven City for to feel less homesick, I guess, the way you could call it.
The light creatures don't seem to be from our world.
No, they're definitely from here.
The book didn't seem to imply that, but I don't know.
But Geena did.
That's true. She did.
Yeah, well I think that's, Walter mentioned to me the examine text for, I think, the light creature familiar.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Dreams, it's basically the dreams of Ma. Or an elder god. But
some kind of elder god.
We assume Ma, but who knows?
Yeah. They're from the dreams of Dor.
Alright. The dreams of Dor. Oh god.
Oh boy.
We won't
Why
allow
else would
latency to
why
download
else
in
would the
Broken Home.
light creature at the top of the tower be hanging out near that door?
The evolution of doors.
Oh,
I need it.
The evolution of door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no.
That was obviously implemented for Broken Home and never again.
Oh man. Alright, anyways. I guess then we'll move on into the Melir. There's a fruit tree.
Isn't it?
Huh?
Wait. Isn't it pronounced Malier?
I have no idea how it.
Failure.
Melir.
That's my plan.
Yay.
I
Yeah, this
I
is
just
my-
read
these
it.
are my
I don't
homework.
Welsh.
Yeah, we don't Welsh.
I don't attempt to Welsh. I don't even try to attempt to Welsh because I know it's going to fail miserably.
I've been going with either LulDG Elves or Geena's clan.
Yeah, this one's the LDG elves.
Or if you want Dr. Miemia.
Yes.
He inherited creatorship of it when Mod Hunter moved on to the ninja team, so he's been filling in lots of the bugs and filling out a lot of help for us. And yeah, anything he can't pronounce, he calls us Miemia. He also
That
named
works.
it Miemia.
That sounds like the mispronunciation of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Thor last night, I realized, hey, did we steal this gag from somewhere?
I don't think he did originally, but I steered him towards it. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's the fruit tree patch that we were missing in the first batch. The musician in the area unlocks among Tyrannan trees. I want to mention the music right quick. The music in Prif as a whole is amazing.
So good. So
Yeah,
good.
The audio team did a stunning job, I think.
Yeah.
Praise to them.
Yeah. I do have to wonder why is the Backstorian music track unlocked in Earworth and what is the other one that's backwards? The
Twilight
Cruist,
Twain is in Kadarn.
the Cruist one is in Melir. It's just the places, the specific places where they're all unlocked is kind of backwards. Yeah, the Dark Lord one is in Kadarn. Like,
I quite like the idea that they're kind of sharing because they split with the Divide and everything, they're sharing their history a bit through music with the other clans.
I guess that's one way of thinking.
That's
of it.
cool. That makes more sense than just oops, we put the triggers in the wrong place. But
Yeah.
that actually is kind of interesting.
Oops,
That
we put the triggers in the wrong place.
well, that's actually cool. I like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Melir is herblore and dungeoneering, which this was the one that was the got pulled, right?
I think the players just did this to say, hey, put dungeoneering in more content.
I feel like I almost want to say that it was a troll. It's like, here, have fun trying to get these two to work together.
It's a credit challenge. I mean, like, Hef and Prayer and Agility work together very well. Although it took us a while to find that niche where the two meet.
Yeah, that one too, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the community has been very purposely voting for stuff like dungeoneering to try and force you guys into figuring out a way to fit it in with other skills.
Get it out of Demonheim.
Yeah.
The thing is we kind
Which
of love that
guys
sort of
love.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
we've mentioned it here so many times, and I'm sure that you've heard us talk about it so many times, that our gripes about dungeoneering just not being outside of Demonheim enough.
Like, it happened. How many quests was it in where it was a quest requirement? Like
3, 4?
I think it was 2.
Let's see, Salt in the Wound. I mean, what?
Clockwork Syringe.
Clockwork Syringe,
Yeah.
Salt in the Wound, and then there's 1 or 2 more that I can't remember offhand.
One of a Kind has one as well now.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that makes 3.
I think there's 1 more. I just can't remember which one it is. But yeah, there's so few, and it just feels like it almost got pigeonholed because of the way it was initially made, and so yeah. But that's a gripe that we've mentioned so many times, and that we don't need to go into it anymore here.
And Plague's End.
Plague's End is because of the whole... Something.
To be honest, Plague Zen did go to Daemonheim for the dungeoneering requirement.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of interesting.
But then again, so did Salt in the Wound.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's true.
Rowley,
Salt
I
the
can't
Wound
wait.
technically did. Oh god.
Rowley, I
Rip
can't wait
Elfin
to see
Locks.
what you do with Port's Even Harder Dungeoneering.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Let's not go into that here, though. I think.
Yeah.
Any teasers right quick before we keep going with Mailer, whatever.
Things will happen. It will be exciting.
Sail 3, Port's Even Harder.
Sail 3, Port's Even Harder.
Exactly.
Well done, Lime.
I detect the line fail.
It works.
I thought that was intentional after someone already said Port's Harder.
Oh man. No, he said Sail 3, Port's Even Harder.
Yeah,
It's
someone
Port's
said
3,
Harder
Sail Even
before.
Harder is what we've been saying.
Oh boy.
As
One thing.
That was intentional.
Right.
Okay, good. One thing I can ask about, I guess just since we're on the topic of like potions and dungeoneering, is there ever going to be a storage method for the perfect potions? Because I remember going up to, I think, Lady Melier and just saying like, hey, what can I do for you? And she just hands me all these potions. I'm like, I get that you're nice, but I don't have the bank space for this. Can I give them back to you?
Hold these.
Kitten, please.
It would be nice because you can store normal ones with the leprechaun in Herblore Habitat.
Yeah.
And since this is a high level adaptation of that, like it would be cool if there was someone that would hold them for you, even if it is one of the leprechaun elves.
Maybe the Tool Leprechaun got married to an elf.
It's just a leprechaun with elf ears.
Oh no. Not this again.
That's what Gloffrey's been doing.
Not this again. Anyways.
No shipping. That's when you get the sign that just says stop.
Nope.
Stop.
This is where we get the horse head in the Seercast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No shipping whatsoever.
Hey, at least they're not asking about Sarah and Gothi's love child, unlike Mob Mark.
No.
Oh.
Anyways.
Oh, please.
So the Melier, there's lots of combination potions. Just so many of them that I'm not going to cover all of them. I guess we can mention the ones that are probably the most important. Also there's the Motherlode Maw, the level 115 dungeoneering, thing.
Yep. That's a great resource dungeon. Oh my god.
Shame I can't
Everything
use it.
about it is good. There's another 25 Crystal Flex Sandstone. There's a Demu, which have the giant ones for the blood necklace. There's, the Maw. It's a really, really good dungeon. Well worth the 115 dungeoneering.
Yeah, I don't have 115. I'm at 106.
I have
I'm at
115.
102 right now.
I can't actually use anything in there.
Yeah.
Well, except that rock.
So, there's also the 4 harmony pillars, which are tuned to a different skill each day.
I've been trolled.
I went so hard last night.
Like those things, they keep giving me smithing ones.
Rip.
I have a question about those, actually. I have a dungeoneering pillar right now, and I get more than 50k each dungeon, but it'll only count for 50k towards the pillar. Both times when I go to check it, it says you have 50k left until the next growth cycle. It was really throwing me off, because apparently you can't get more than 50k credited to it at a time. Which is odd.
Yeah.
Well, that's the amount of one growth cycle, right?
Right.
Yeah, one growth cycle is 50k, but you would think that when I get 118k from dungeoneering, it would just advance 2 growth cycles and another 18k XP.
Is that a balancing thing?
Honestly, neither of us worked on Malia, so we don't have
Fair
any
enough.
information. But I'm writing it down and I'll pass it on to Modhunt to see if that's an issue.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
I just noticed it last night, because dungeoneering is the only case where that will happen.
Yeah, there's no other skill that'll give you a XP drop of more than
118K base XP.
more than 50k at a time.
So just to
Yeah.
clarify, you had more than 50k Dungeoneering XP, and the pillar didn't change at all.
It went up by
I
50k.
received 118k from a dungeon, and it just went up one 50k cycle and didn't count any XP beyond the initial 50k I got.
Did it
And
not
that was
change?
without any boosts or anything.
Did it not change to a different skill though?
No. It was still dungeoneering. It just only credited 50k at a time.
Right.
Like,
I think
did 2 dungeons in a row, and it only gave me 50k credit for each dungeon that I did, even when I got more than 50k.
I think
It's
that
like when
may
I
be
went to check it
a
again.
Design.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
check.
But yeah, I'll look
Thank
into it. It's just so you can't blast through it in 1 or 2 dungeons.
Yeah,
Because it's so
that's
quick
nice.
compared to the rest.
Makes sense.
Plus, it's the only skill where you get more than 50k at a time, and that's actually the,
Yeah,
actually
it makes sense for it to be that way, to be honest.
Train it.
Like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
like,
you do get
figure that
so
out.
much XP from dungeoneering.
Yeah.
That,
These things are to encourage, like, you to train other skills, right?
Yeah.
So, like, me getting a smithing one will try and encourage me to do smithing. Again.
Again.
Yeah.
So 120 smithing when?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Soon, trademark.
When the rework happens.
Yes. Where's Jack? But yeah, so, combination potions. There's apparently a water source in the area, because why not? Yeah, in the level 95 Dungeoneering Resource Dungeon, there's a Garage Horde Stalker, and he gives you one of his cards at a time, one of his cards every time you go in. You can only have one card at a time though. There are also Impling spawn points, but they can't spawn dragon or kingly Implings. However, higher chance of spawning crystal Implings. It also has a bloodwood tree. I hadn't seen one of those in a while.
I forgot they existed, to be honest.
I did too. I was like, wait, why is there this tree down here?
I was reminded a few days ago that they existed because Ritual from Hotshot.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
And then I wasn't really paying attention, and I started chopping one, and then it's like, yo, you can't do that. You don't have any of the bolts on you. It'll just turn to ash. And I'm like, oh god, I forgot about that. I wish they would be like hard buffed, because they're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting design for the bolts. It's just that DOC happened and then it became a little
They fell
bit
off.
irrelevant. Yeah.
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 It's just the tiering system. I mean, the tiering system's better, but it did mean that some niche items lost use, and so be it, I guess. There's also random divine locations that spawn, so if you're lazy and don't want to go to World 2 and are already down there, you can get some divine location stuff done.
Is the divine location cap separate from a player
No.
one or not?
No,
Okay,
it's
I wasn't
not.
sure.
But you can
I saw
literally
my
fill your
first ever
entire pack
divine-
at once.
Yeah. I saw my first ever divine basic tree down there.
Oh my god.
Those do
I didn't know those
exist, don't
existed.
they? Alright, we mentioned the level 115 Crystal Flex Sandstone Rock, highly aggressive Edimu.
Yeah, I've been seeing gravestones in Prifddinas because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
those
poison
things
you?
hurt.
Because I keep
think so.
seeing gravestones in the Prifddinas GE.
That's a little scary.
That is a little scary.
And before Jad shows up. And before Araxor shows up, just for Walter.
Yeah, it's just,
And
well, just the
Ken
sad
Runic.
part, like Walter dies and only his grave gets the spider every single time chomping away at it. Just no reason. It's just a spider there.
Rip Walter.
Oh, Walter.
And before Stu shows up as Araxor while Walter's there.
Dear. Oh dear. Now Stu knows how to troll us.
Walter's not doing it for
Why did you do that? Why you do this?
I'm quietly making more notes.
Yay! Yay!
Oh jeez.
Oh boy. They drop, the Edimu drop blood necklace shards, which can be combined with top tier dungeoneering amulets, or the Amulet of Fury. makes it untradeable. Makes it an untradeable blood necklace. When you deal or take damage, there's a 1/3 chance of dealing damage to the creature that you hit, or to the last creature that hit you. Deals 400 to 600 damage, and then hits up to 8 surrounding enemies that are attacking you for 200 to 300 damage, and you are healed for the total. So it's basically a blood necklace.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It doesn't.
I like it for player.
It isn't super useful for bossing, but
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not that great for anything other than GWD.
Is there?
Yeah.
I do. So the blood necklace keeps the stats of the amulets that you eat, or does it just take? Is it just that?
It keeps the stats.
Okay, then it still keeps the stats. So
yeah,
it does.
I mean, it's pretty useful. I wish it could be used on the Hydrix as well. But aside from that, I actually
also
quite like it.
In a side note, Amulet Assault now degrades if you don't use Soul Split. So,
right? Wow.
Wait, what doesn't degrade? What?
Amulet of Souls.
Before, kind of off topic at this point, but before Amulet of Souls wasn't degrading if you didn't have Soul Split on. That's now been fixed.
Oh.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was like literally a non-degrading amulet.
Yeah, there's also a chance when you kill an Edimu, that a Super Edimu will spawn. This one's not aggressive, can only be attacked by the player that summoned it for the first few minutes. Better drop table, including a pet called Eddie.
Aww.
Has anybody seen Eddie running around?
It's basically a version of the Cyclosis, but Edina.
Yeah. I was about to say, that's really cool, because I always liked that mechanic when they added it in for, Warriors Guild. And then once Dragon Defenders once you were done getting them and then you leveled past them, it was Yeah. But that's cool to have that
still
mechanic.
have 11 of them in my bank.
That Defender buff is supposed to come out soon.
And will they still be useless? Probably. Rip Defenders.
Yeah. We'll see.
The original offhands.
Yeah, they are the original offhands.
They are. Let's see. Then there's the Motherlode Maw, which doesn't give anything except for baby implings and rune items.
Confirmed.
No. It also now gives melee or potions 100%.
Oh man.
I did actually get my first potion.
I think I got a bunch of coins from one pull.
Yeah. I got 21k coins.
Yeah, I got something like that. I got a bunch of offhand rune throwing axes. I was like, what am I supposed to do with these?
Yeah.
I got something that was actually worthless. It was like 2k total. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like, oh my god. But yeah, and these were from the Motherlode shards, because I don't have 115.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
Yeah. I got a little perturbed when I got to the maw and the first pull, they gave me like a Livid Farm token, and I'm already done with Livid Farm.
Rip.
Oh.
I'm just like, thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. Sorry, but...
You can always go back to
You can always get more Bard power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I could just see you reaching in there and pulling out a KBD head.
Yeah, honestly, it's, I think I've passed that point of just doubt, like, can it please drop that now?
You reach in there, you pull out a KBD head, and there's a note attached to it that says, "This is not Last Riders."
Yeah, I was still, like, considering I've been gone for a couple podcasts, I went up to Walter, well, I didn't go up to him, obviously, because I have no idea where the heck he is, but I was talking to him on Skype, and I'm just like, so, apparently there's this cosmetic KBD thing. I don't know about this, but I wonder if I wear it, I'll get Last Riders.
No,
probably not.
You'll get more heads.
You receive an IOU for Last Riders Part 2. And if you trade it in, you get told you can't have that until you've already had Last Riders.
Rip.
Yeah.
It's the journal that doesn't actually exist. Also, thank you for making that not be a requirement for the Lorehound title.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank the J God.
Yeah.
I don't have it
Legitimately, the Maw is quite good when you get, the rare stuff. Gives Golden Rocks, Shattered Heart Rocks, the recipes, effigies, dragon armor, apparently. can get a crystal tree seed, and then there's also enhancements, which are really cool. I really like those.
The dragon stuff, that's a good touch to add in the dragon armor.
Yeah, especially considering it's dragon, the dragonkin face.
Yeah. We haven't veered that far off topic.
Yeah, we're
still talking about the maw. But yeah, so we've got, there's the enhancers. The enhancers are all, well, they enhance various things in various mini-games, like Rush of Blood damage enhancer, volcanic damage enhancer. That only works for the kiln?
Yeah, it only works for the kiln.
Yep. It should work for the caves, but oh well.
Mobilizing armies point enhancer, Morvrand's challenge enhancer, etc. And Walter says hopefully they continue to add enhancers for future requirements. So they, I don't know much about them. I'm a fan of the general use, though.
I think that was a really good choice rather than just handing you Castle Wars tickets. You still have to go through the effort.
Yeah.
I like it.
And one question that I think both Walter and I had was, is there a cap on boss revives? Basically, is there a cap on boss revives for the challenge? Or can you only use like one, I don't know how it works specifically, but...
This is the only chance Walter has of beating Araxor.
Yeah, like, can you take an entire inventory of them in and just try to live and then just die like 28 times at Araxi and eventually kill her or something? I hope it doesn't work that way.
I think, you'd need to ask Mod Hunter that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know, unfortunately.
That's alright, I was just wondering just like, how much can I cheese this boss fight?
How much can I cheese it?
What does happen when you use a wedge of cheese on Araxor?
Shame it's not a mouse boss.
Oh man. Anyways.
Yeah, let's move on.
There are small updates to the other sections. Kruis also now has a water source. Kruis pickpocketing doesn't give seeds anymore. You can
I really like what it gives now, though.
It gives yew logs, flax, magic logs, maple saplings, pineapple saplings, and Walter says in the thread it was to help the seed market, which is understandable, but a seed every now and again would be nice, even if they're rare.
I do like the changes, though. It's a good value. No more quorum seeds, thank goodness.
Thank you to Mod Rowley for giving crystal implings through tree shaking crimsaws during the voice of Saren.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly for me. I needed it.
That's the one that needs
but
it.
I'm glad everyone else likes it too.
Yeah.
Does that... I think... I don't know, because I was having a long conversation with Walter, back to my Walter conversations, but is that doesn't check off the completionist thing, right? You actually have to catch the crystal impling to get the requirement.
The tree shaking scrimshaw, the impling comes out of the tree and then you have to go and catch it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so it technically does, or?
I would assume it does.
Once you catch it, it'll tick off.
Okay, that's interesting, because I was... Yeah.
No, it doesn't give you a jarred impling. You have to
okay.
The impling appears and flies around and you have to go and catch it. It's
okay, that's good.
Per person, right? Like the other people around you can't see your impling that came out of the thing for a little while, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's specific
they
to you.
can see it at all, but they can hear it.
Oh, that's a troll.
Yeah, that's the real troll.
Oh, that's a troll.
Somewhere.
Yeah, if that is actually a thing, that's really cool.
It's like Walter's cutting there, and he hears an impling, and she's like, "Where's the impling?
Where?
His
like,
impling senses are tingling.
Walter and the white whale.
Oh dear. Seed now also sells plant pots with soil and watering cans. Can we get this one does have a plant pot. Okay, that's what I was looking for, actually. I was like, why is there no plant pots anywhere here? Because there's tree patches, but yeah.
Yeah, but apparently the plant pots are filled with super compost and you can't use them because they...
Yeah, that was a fail on my part. It shows how much I do farming. I hate farming.
Yeah. I didn't know that until I read Walter's comment on here. I'm like, oh cool, they're pre-filled with super compost. This is really helpful.
And not really.
I had no idea.
I was just going to add plant pots on there. I thought, ooh, hey, there's this other thing called plant pot with compost in it. That must be useful. I'll put that on there instead. Something that never actually went live, so I will be fixing that shortly. I did fix for it this morning.
Whoops.
Oh, and then there's also the Coden Sworn title.
the
sap healing.
What are all the requirements for that?
You have to wear full split bark plus a wand and shield, and then a tribal mask and a Cruis cape.
So the split bark, everything,
farming.
but not the helm?
Yeah, the helm is a tribal mask.
Yeah, was that from the Twitter craze of the cult of Coden that people started?
Coden was one of mine. We all added in a title, and this time around I made sure that the Coden cultists got something.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Until I finished getting that word around.
And it's pronounced Coden because it looks like Seeden to me.
It's Coden.
Okay.
That was the funniest thing I saw on Twitter.
There's an E next to it.
Yeah, the OE is
Co.
It depends. It depends on.
Oh, there's someone here with the title. Okay.
But yeah, in Kadarn there's a musician, and you'll unlock the Twilight Twain, which is so hard for me to say. It's a nice track name. Arianwin will let you replay the opening cutscene, which is nice.
Can I make a comment on? I've been told the pickpocketing option has accidentally been removed on Arianwin. Is that true?
He gives
the code for it says it hasn't.
The option's definitely still on there. I think what did happen though was I believe that there was a duplicate Memoriam crystal when it went out in batch 1 initially. That was used elsewhere, and we fixed that. So I think it might be the case that some people who got the Arianwin one, that's now been flagged by getting another crystal somewhere else. So essentially just make sure you've got all the crystals everywhere.
Okay.
That should resolve.
Yeah, I have all 16, but I just remember having to pickpocket Arianwin for one. And when I walked up and I saw the pickpocketing option was just entirely gone.
Yeah, Walter says that if you pickpocket him, the pickpocketing option goes away.
Yeah, okay. That's the intended behavior. Yeah, so if you've got the crystal already, then the pickpocket option is gone.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
I saw it and was like, oh god, please tell me that didn't accidentally replace it.
Far there. Go on, Kitten.
Sorry. Just one thing. I think it might fall under lore potentially if it's mentioned anywhere. But there's one Memoriam crystal that won't budge.
Oh yeah, that one.
Was
the troll
freaking me out.
Yeah. And we still have to figure out what to put on that.
What is the point of that?
Okay. So that
is
tied to...
Shh, guys, shh.
That crystal is tied to Modcast's title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Does it actually give lore, or is it just a title?
I wouldn't say anything other than what I've said.
So that's okay. So that's tied to the sneaky title.
Okay.
Basically, what we're and we need to figure out what items to use on it or something.
Yes, that is Yufang.
And yes, it is Yufang.
What the heck? Oh, I was hearing the noise too. I had no idea what was going on.
But yeah, apparently there are also far fewer sharks from pickpocketing Kadarn and Yorworth.
Yeah, there are a lot fewer. I was happy about that.
I love Walter in the thread says, so food actually has to be bought again.
Quite a shame.
There's also a musician in the Yorworth section now. Resting will unlock Backstorian's Hollow, which was, I guess, teased for us on on their SoundCloud, and it is...
And at RuneFest.
Great. Oh yeah, and at RuneFest too.
We could vaguely hear it on the stream in the background of one of the interview sections, and then just like halfway through they cut away, and I was very upset.
I believe all 4 of the tracks are on the SoundCloud account now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they were back at the time.
Quickly going over the titles, we don't have any idea how to get the sneaky title, the sword artist title, the challenge title, and whatever Modcast's title is. We don't know how to get them yet. And there could be more that we don't know about. Is the Attune title rumored to exist? Is that
does it exist?
Which one?
The Attuned. Walter says we don't know if that exists.
I don't believe there's one called the Attuned. I don't recall seeing that.
Okay. Somebody was saying that there was a title called The Attuned, and it was supposedly for having like all of the attuned weapons.
I think they're trolling a bit. There's certainly nothing that I implemented.
That would be the worst troll.
Yeah.
That is an awful troll.
Spend like a
Guys,
week making them all.
Alright, guys, we can present the worst troll of the year now.
Which is?
That troll right there.
That guy.
He gets the Golden Troll Award.
The trolleys.
The Dark Lord title appears to be bugged, but apparently some people have it. It's for killing shadow creatures. I think it's for putting in a bunch of cores into the rift, but I'm not sure.
The Dark Lord title essentially requires the Lorehound title, so if that's blocked currently, then you're also not going to get Dark Lord yet.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
Lorehound, speaking of which, it requires a quest cape, all 32 Memoriam crystals from both Fate of the Gods and Prif, and completing the entire Voice of the Elders book. Sweet Tooth is eating a bunch of sweets, specifically chocolate cakes, bars, chalk chip crunchies, chalk bombs, chalk ices, cake, summer pie, red berry pie, apple pie, and fruit batas, a bunch of them in Prif. 250 laps on the Heifen agility courses of the Heifen. 200 Harmony Moss harvested is of the Meleer.
It's like, that's so much XP. Is that going to be
so
changed?
Much.
Sorry, how many did you say? Because I believe that was already changed, wasn't it?
Is it? Because it's supposed to be 200 Harmony Moss still.
Is it not 50? I thought it was 50. I could be wrong. No, never mind. Ignore me.
Might have not rolled out then.
It doesn't matter how much XP it is. It's just like that. It just takes a while.
Yeah, no, I thought I read something on the forums. No, don't mind me.
Somebody was petitioning to get it lowered to 50.
Of the
because
Ethel
that would be
is
about 25 harvests.
Yeah. Of the Ethel is to make 100 crystal flasks. Of the Amlod is to talk to Lord Amlod while enlightened by a light creature familiar by its special move. The Elven is to waste 8 million and 8 bank spaces on all 8 elf capes. Rip bank spaces.
Whatever happened to combining all the capes?
It's one of the many things that we didn't get around to doing, unfortunately.
Darn.
I think I saw that either on Twitter or on the forums or something. You mentioned that. Somebody mentioned that. The Meandering, which is Rowley's title, is to take longer than 10 minutes to complete one lap on the Heifen agility course. That one's great. I love that title.
Should have been an hour.
That would have been amazing.
Oh man.
You have to sit there and wait for an Ironworth and a Kadarn Voice of Saren so that you don't feel bad about wasting 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just bring a stack of headless arrows with you.
Yeah. Of Tardiad is to talk to all 8 elf clan leaders about their clans. I, for some reason, don't have this title. I don't know. I guess I missed a clan leader or something.
I don't know what happened. I just thought it had something to do with that extra bit of dialogue for telling Lord Yorworth about the World Gate.
I just specifically got it. You can't find Lady Traherne?
No, I can't find Lady Traherne.
She is right next to the Saren Stones.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, she's right there.
Hidden by a lava pipe.
Because you probably...
It's
there's
the one
probably a
place-
couple lava geyser things underneath it.
Oh, it's bugged. You have to re-ask an old clan leader. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so that's why I don't have it.
I just walked around to each of them and talked to them and got it randomly.
The Mourner is to be made fun of by Lady Ethel while wearing full Mourner gear. That dialogue is great. She's like, "You look so silly."
And you're like, but I was trying to look badass.
But this was an entire quest series. Come on.
This was the crux of this entire quest series. This is why I'm here.
Yeah. You look ridiculous.
And the Seed and Sworn, Code and Swarm, whatever, we mentioned that before. You also have to either cast Cure Plant or Fertile Soil on Seed, Code, whatever.
My favorite is those comments. Oh, that tickles.
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear. Have they fixed Cure Plant on the Cruis herb patch yet?
Ages ago, yeah.
They didn't before I got 99 farming, which was 2 weeks ago. They fixed Fertile Soil immediately.
Yeah, I thought Cure Plant got fixed.
But the Cure Plant spell, I don't know if that ever got fixed.
I don't know.
Maybe I should go and try, but it requires having a sick herb that I see and trying that. I don't know. But is there anything else, content-wise, that I'm missing from Prif Batch 2?
Not that I can think of.
No.
Top of my
Unless
head.
you want to mention all the potions.
Oh, the new God statue is gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool.
That one is a
Which
good one.
reminds me, I should go do that.
Yeah, I went and put one at Lumbridge because, well, Glario.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of potions, and by a whole bunch I mean a whole bunch.
Unfortunately, the Goblin Transmogrification and the Prayer Renewal wasn't one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we could have gotten that potion if Pandos was still alive.
Oh man.
One thing I wanted to ask about was, I don't know if this is related to anything, but I know people were going a little crazy over the little, I think it was like an octagonal symbol near, just a raised section of the floor near one of the entrances to Prif.
Oh,
and
Walter showed
I think
us
it's gone, because I kept looking at that, I'm like, where? I can't see it. I don't know if the textures are being weird, or was it removed? Was there a reason for that?
You really had to squint to see
it. Was
Even
removed.
if you're standing on it, it's like, there's nothing different.
It was a bug
Okay,
in
it
the
was
original cutscene.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I did not know that. So I just kept, it made me go a little insane because I thought it symbolized something.
It's okay, we're all insane. That's why
You
we're
weren't
here.
insane enough already, Kitten.
That's why we're
Yeah,
here.
remember how we
Yeah,
all
that's
thought
why
it was tied to the titles and stuff?
We all did
We were
thought
all like,
think it was like, oh my god, is this a Ravensworn title hint? Because that was when we had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Times.
Anyways, yeah. So I do want to mention perfect juju potions. They do last for an hour. I wish that the farming potion kept the perfect juju potion kept the juju farming potions ability, but I guess there's a severe balancing issue with that. So, oh well. But yeah.
To yell at Timbo.
I mean, I understand why it's not, but I just wish it was, so I didn't have to drag around them both, but, oh well. Are there any specific potions we should mention, and then call it a day for the content?
I don't think
just
so.
want to buff to the potion recipe rate in Dungeoneering. On my 4th floor without seeing a single one right now.
I would start using the Dungeoneering Juju, or the Herb Lord Juju potion then, because it increases the chance by 10% that one will spawn.
Is it tradable?
Yep.
All
Isn't it
jujus
also-
are tradable now.
It's also
Perfect
pretty-
Juju Herb Lord potion.
Yeah, it's also pretty heavily dependent on your DG level, right? Like 120, that's going to be a huge help with that.
Oh, I'm only 77 DG.
You can
Oh,
have
then you're screwed.
Oh boy.
It'll be a while.
Wait,
It'll be
dude,
a
Ballor
How do you-
actually can gain XP from this. I'm
how
not
do you
complaining
mean,
about it.
how do you have a
I've
lower...
already had my first level up since Plague's End today, Fang. Shut up.
How do you have a lower
Progress.
Dungeoneering level than me? I've got 86.
Because
and I thought I was
Ballor's
the lowest
skills
one.
less than anybody in existence that has a...
Ballor is a quest pure, basically.
He is a quest.
Pretty much.
1 in 64.5 largest per potion. Rip Ballor. Rip
And I'm only
pepperonis.
doing smalls. Kill
Oh
me.
god, that's like
Everyone
what,
finds
1 in
1,000.
220 or something? Oh god.
Have fun, basically.
Oh, it's like almost 1 in 300.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Ballor, I will
Jeez.
come with you.
1 in
Smalls.
rip. Yeah, I do like some of the names that were given to a lot of the ones that involve prayer potions and anti-fire potions. Like the bright fire potion, the holy overload potion, searing overload potion. I just like the names of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fire, that was a good one.
Instead of it being something like prayer overload potion or anti-fire renewal potion or something silly like that.
Anti-fire renewal load. Yeah.
Yes. Anti-fire removal load.
That rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a way.
Alright, so yeah, I think that covers everything from content. So
Lore time.
Yeah, it's lore time. I'm gonna actually split the video here, but yeah, so that there'll be a link in the video, and we will be back shortly with lore, because lore.
We could be back.
Be right back.
It could take a very long time for us to come back. It depends on how good your internet is.
My internet's fine. Anyways, yeah, we'll be back.